What I'd like for you guys to do is to open up to page 50 in your book on lesson 5. This title is Homeostasis and the Cell Processes. So over here on the right hand side of your book, it says engage your brain. Number 1 says, how is this person able to stay on the skateboard? Well, you should have thought in your head, maybe balancing. Maybe they have the opportunity of moving their body. Maybe they move the board so their toes or whatever is figuring that it needs to balance itself out. There's many different ways that that person is able to stay on the skateboard. What you're going to learn in this lesson is a little bit of everything. We're going to go back and talk about homeostasis. You already talked about photosynthesis in the Google slides that I've already made for you. We're going to touch upon that. Then we're going to look at cellular respiration. That's going to be after photosynthesis. And what other vocabulary terms you see here are mitosis, passive transport, diffusion, osmosis, active transport, endocytosis, and ectocytosis. I love this section. So staying alive, if you turn to page 52, this is a quick review about homeostasis, since we talked about homeostasis a lot during the first marking period. All right, we always feel more comfortable when our surroundings are ideal. Nobody wants to be too hot. Nobody wants to be too cold. Nobody wants to be too wet unless they're swimming. And nobody wants to be too dry where your skin is flaking off. Right? Well, your cells feel the same way. The cell's environment has to maintain its own homeostasis. So if you remember, that's keeping an internal state of stable abilities. So you want to stay the same. In order to survive, your cells need to be able to obtain and use energy, make new cells, exchange materials, and eliminate waste. All of those things that the organelles allow us to do. Homeostasis makes sure that that happens. So right here, and visualize it, this girl is drinking some water. Think about how this girl is feeling after she exercises. What things can you see that are helping her keep her body temperature stable? So what I want you to do is pause the video now, answer that question, and then you can resume. Okay, so what you should have done was you should have said, hey, this girl is drinking some water. That's going to help her body maintain homeostasis because she's drinking the water to fill back into her cells. And we know that her cells were pushing water out. That's why she was sweating. Well, her body temperature was probably also going up. And when we talked about our body temperature going up, we sweat. So the water is also going to cool her down in the process. So hopefully that's exactly what you said. So here it's talking about the balance of organisms. And if you look at the two pictures, the top one is a unicellular organism, a deninium, is eating another unicellular organism called a paramecium. The paramecium is this one right here. We've seen a couple videos with parameciums, but this single cell organism is eating this single cell organism. That's crazy. The other day in class, we talked about xylem and phloem. And the xylem and the phloem helps to transport water and food to different parts of the cell. So this picture is showing you those tubes. There was a few classes that I showed my celery and I pulled back the skin and we're able to show the veins. All cells need energy and materials in order to carry out life processes. So a unicellular organism exchanges materials directly with its environment. We do that through the cell membrane. And the cell membrane is the key to making sure that homeostasis is secure. So cells in a multicellular organism have to work together. We know this. And we have specific transporting systems in place with our ER. We also have the Golgi body that is going to ship it out. And the main transport system in your body is your cardiovascular system. So the other day when we were talking about systems, this one is another one, cardiovascular system. It includes the heart, the blood vessels, and blood. So we talked about how the heart pumps blood all the way through your body, and in some classes I did say that it takes 1 minute for one of your blood cells to go all the way through your body. So up to your brain, down each arm, then down to your feet, up the other side. So I think that's pretty cool. Blood carries many of the materials into the cells and carries waste away from the cells. So the xylem and the phloem down here, it's just really, really cool, but I wanted you to know that these are some tissues that are in the plant. Let's turn the page. This is a beautiful giraffe. All right, he's got this long neck. So how do cells get energy? We have talked about this a lot. 1, plants are going to make their own, and animals have to eat it. So photosynthesis is the process for the plants to grow and make their own food. And then cellular respiration, this is the introduction to that word, is what we do as animals when we eat the food that photosynthesis has allowed to happen. So down here at the bottom, there are 2 equations. And in these equations, they're looking for the words that add together with sunlight and what they make. So I want you to figure that part out. That is going to be helpful in the paragraph of photosynthesis. Maybe you remember it from the Google slide presentation. Cellular respiration also has a wonderful, beautiful equation. You're going to memorize these, I promise you. Nearly all the oxygen around us is made by photosynthesis. Animals and plants use oxygen during cellular respiration to break down food. Oh, well, that's interesting. So we breathe in, our lungs use it, but we also need that to help us break down the food that we consume. So we're going to get further into photosynthesis and cellular respiration when I get back into school. Pause the video now so that you can fill in the equation. Once you are done, then you can unpause and move on. The next part is about mitosis. It's how do cells divide. We're going to not spend any time on this right now. We'll come back to this part on page 55 after we are finished with photosynthesis and cellular respiration. Now, we should be on page 56 and 57. This is probably one of my favorite parts of the entire book. What I want us to do is we're going to stop here. I have some videos that I want you to watch, and then I want you to come back and watch the second video that I personally make. So what you're going to do is you're going to stop this video after I'm done. You're going to go back into the folder and watch the videos on the photosynthesis tabs that I give to you. And then after you are finished watching them, we're going to move back in here.